In this Python tutorial, we're going to go over the map function. The map function returns an iterator that applies a function to every item of an iterable, yielding the results. So you can think of the map as something that allows you to map a function to a set of data. And then it does something to that data, returning results. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our first example. In this case, we're going to use the map with a function that we have created. So here we have created a function that will square a number. And here we have created a variable and we have assigned our map function. We have put our map function in a list so we can see the results in a list form. So we have a list, then we put the map function inside the list, and then inside of the map function we put our two arguments. And the first argument is the function, and make sure that you leave the parentheses off. So this function here is the same as this function here. Okay? And then the second argument in the map is the data set. And in this case, we just have a list of 2, 4, and 6. So what this is going to do when we use the print to display is, in list form, it's going to map the square function to each element of this list here, 2, 4, and 6, and then it's going to square it, because we use the square function. So let's go ahead and select this and run it. And you can see our original data set of 2, 4, and 6 here, each of those have been squared. So 2 squared is 4, 4 squared is 16, and 6 squared is 36. Moving on to our next example, we're going to use the map function with a built-in function. So here we have map variable 2, and again we use the list so we can display our answers in a list form. Then we call the map function here, and inside the map function, again we put our function and then our data set. So in this case we're using the math module, which we imported here. Then we're going to use the square root function, and this will take the square root of each of these numbers here. So let's go ahead and select this and run it. And you can see for the original data set of 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, we get the square roots of 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Next up, we're going to use the map function to sum the values of nested lists. So here we have our list. We have our larger list with the square brackets here, and inside of that we have 3 separate lists. So you can use the map function to sum the values of this list, and this list, and this list. So here we have our map3 variable, and we have assigned the map function inside of the list so we can display the answers in list form. We use the map function, and then inside the map function we call the sum function. We're going to map the sum function to this list here, and it will iterate over this list and sum each of these 3 lists. So let's go ahead and select this and run it. And you can see for the first list, if you add up 1, 2, and 3, you get 6 here. For the second list, if you add up 4, 5, and 6, you get 15. And for the third list, if you add up 7, 8, and 9, you get 24. Next up, let's use the map with the lambda, and we haven't covered lambdas yet, but let's go ahead and give you a quick definition. Lambdas can be used as a sort of function shorthand that allows you to embed a function right within the code that uses it. So for now, just think of a lambda as a different type of function. Okay, so here we have list 2 with the values 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have map4 variable. We've assigned our map function. We've put it inside of the list, and inside of the map function we create our lambda function, and this lambda function will take each value and multiply it by 2. And then the second argument of the map function is list 2. So basically this map function will map our lambda function, which will multiply each value by 2, to our list here of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's go ahead and select this and run it, and you can see we get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, which is just each of these values in this list multiplied by 2. Next up, let's use the map with a for loop. So here we have our for loop. We're going to say for I in the map, and inside the map we have our lambda function, which will be mapped to our data set here, which is a range of 10 numbers, starting at 0 going to 10. And remember that when you declare it like this, it will go up to, but not including 11, and start at 0. So each number in our range, 0 through 10, will have 10 added to it as designated by the lambda function here. So let's go ahead and select this and run it. And you can see we get 10 through 20. So this number would have been 0, but the lambda function added 10. This number would have been 1. The lambda function added 10. All the way up to 20, which would have been 10, but the lambda function added 10 to that. For our last example, let's use the map function with the dictionary. So here we have our dictionary with 3 key value pairs. Key value, key value, key value. With our values being quick, swift, and rapid. So let's say that we wanted to use the map function to add ly to each of these words. So quick will become quickly, swift will become swiftly, and rapid will become rapidly. So once again, we put the map function in a list so our results can be displayed in list form. We use our map function. Inside the map function, we declare the function we want to map to our data set, and in this case we use a lambda, which will simply add ly to each value in our dictionary, and then we declare the data set here that we want to map our lambda function to. So let's go ahead and select this and run it, and you can see quick, swift, and rapid turned into quickly, swiftly, and rapidly. That's all we have for this Python tutorial on the map function. We will be doing many more Python tutorials in the near future. Join us for those, and we'll see you next time.